Welcome to the More Than ADHD Podcast, Episode 12, Men's Mental Health Awareness. I have a question for my fellow guys out there, right off the bat here at the beginning. Are you silently struggling on the inside while trying to simultaneously look strong on the outside? Comment below if you're comfortable and let us know how that's going for you. I know that that's always been tough for me. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the More Than ADHD Podcast. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share for others to join us in this inclusion revolution. My name's Ryan Mayer. I'm a certified ADHD coach, master facilitator, and neuro-inclusion professional. To make sure we're being inclusive and accessible, I want to make sure that I can self-describe for everyone. I am a Caucasian male. I'm wearing my black Ryan Mayer coaching polo shirt, short, curly brown hair, got my black wristband and my black watch on, and I've got my contagious smile ready to go. Before we get things started here, I want to make sure to give a quick shout out to our friends over at ADHD Online. They have been amazing partners for us here on the More Than ADHD Podcast, and they want to make sure that they're providing the highest quality care possible for all of their patients. And they do this by holding themselves and the clinicians that are all across the US that are on their team to the most rigorous standards for the profession. What matters most to me and to the folks at ADHD Online is that you're getting the support that you need and deserve for your mental health. So please, if you haven't already, make sure to check out ADHD Online, and at checkout, you can use discount code CoachRyan50 for $50 off your assessment, which can help to lead you down the path of getting a diagnosis for ADHD. I'm so glad that here in November, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness. There are so many men out there, and I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to all the people that care about you. So many people are silently struggling and having to carry this burden of mental challenges all by themselves. So today, we're going to be focusing on breaking down those barriers, making it safe for men to step forward and share how they're feeling on the inside and figure out what the journey looks like towards a healthier life that you deserve to have. So we're going to be breaking things down so that we can give you some specific steps on how we as men can support ourselves and how others around us can help us in our mental health journey. We talk a lot about unmasking here on the More Than ADHD Podcast, but we're taking a little bit of a different angle on it today because we're talking about unmasking the stigma of men's mental health, where it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not be okay. As a father of two boys, I think about the messages I'm giving them because growing up in the cultures around the world, most boys are getting the message of, you got to man up, tough it out, stop crying. There's no crying in baseball, so to speak. Man up, be strong. You don't need to cry. Boys don't cry. And then how do you think all of those messages are impacting us as we grow up? I want to make sure that my two sons know that it's okay to express your feelings. And in fact, it's a good thing to express your feelings. So how concerning is this? Statistics really help to illustrate how serious this issue is. 80% of deaths by suicide are men. And what's even more concerning than that is that men are way less likely to seek support or therapy for their mental health. Mental Health America reports that nearly 6 million men here in the United States suffer from depression. Hi, I'm one of the 6 million. Okay, but then the problem is, again, men are less likely to seek support. But with each man who is willing to step forward, I volunteer to contribute my story. But one person who did, I know, living here in Cleveland, men, kids, a lot of people look up to professional athletes as public figures, as role models. And one person who I can think of is Kevin Love. He is a former player on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he stepped up to talk about the importance of mental health. And I know a lot of professional athletes have been talking about that. And I think that's a beautiful thing because it's showing that even these toughest of the tough men that are out there, the biggest and strongest, they need help. So if it's okay for them to ask for help, that's inspiring this generation to be able to be more open about their feelings. Let's separate some facts from fiction. Here's the first myth about men's mental health. Bro, therapy is for those who are weak or have other mental issues. The fact is that therapy is a tool for self-care and personal growth. Many successful men in society, whether it's business leaders, dads, parents, celebrities, rely on therapy as a way to cope with this stress and to stay focused on what's most important for them. Myth number 2, talking about feelings isn't manly, bro. The fact is that emotions are a universal human experience. You can't get away from those. Emotions are not a sign of weakness. In fact, talking about our feelings and our emotions can actually make us stronger as men, not weaker. And the way it makes us stronger is it helps us to understand the way that we're reacting to the things that are coming at us and how to better manage it the next time as we move forward. Myth number 3 is, if I just work harder, I'll feel better. The fact is, yes, while working hard is valuable, you got to have that drive. It's not going to address underlying issues that kind of have nothing to do with work. Because therapy, much like coaching, is meant to help address the underlying issues of what might be the root cause of these feelings that we're having. And then we'll be able to look at where is this coming from and what can we do about it. Hashtag Ryan Reminder. Asking for help, seeking therapy, whether that's from ADHD Online or somewhere else, that's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, and it's a sign to your commitment and your growth. And by the way, as someone who seeks and gets therapy myself, I know that that's going to help me to show up better for my family, for my clients, and probably most importantly, for myself. One of the things that helped me to really deal with and process a lot of the negative emotions that I've been experiencing in my life up to that point was getting my official ADHD diagnosis. So if you've been listening, you've been following the content of me on social media or listening here to the More Than ADHD podcast, please give yourself the grace and give yourself the opportunity to get the explanations and the answers you deserve by visiting ADHDonline.com. You can get that ADHD diagnosis, or if you're just seeking other help, like finding a therapist, you can do that through their website as well. And be sure to use code CoachRyan50 at checkout to get $50 off, because I don't want money to be the thing that stops you from getting these answers. Because what if you could remove this huge block that is stopping you from reaching your greatness? Okay, so let's talk about some practical ways that you can improve your mental health. Well, the first for me is exercise. For ADHD brains, there are so many benefits. I mean, there's benefits of exercise for every kind of brain, but it's going to help because it's clinically proven that it's going to reduce stress, improve mood, and reduce anxiety. So it can just be something as simple as going out for a walk, and it can make you just feel so much better. We've talked about mindfulness in past episodes. Another way that you can help with your mental health on a daily basis is journaling. So at the bookends of my day, at the start and at the end, I use Llama Life, which you may have heard of before, and it helps me to remember to practice both mindfulness and gratitude. And ever since I started doing that, I've noticed a really big shift for me. So I do my mindfulness in the morning to help to kind of get my mind right. And then at the end of the day, I actually have time set aside to write down 3 things I did well, so I can give myself credit for that, and also 3 things I'm grateful for. Now, my additional challenge for you for bonus points, because I know men out there, you want to be competitive, you want to win the game. If you want to get bonus points, make sure that the things you list as what you did well and what you're grateful for are different than the ones you've written previously, because that really forces you to think a little bit deeper. So another practical tip that may seem obvious, but especially in the post-pandemic era that we are in now, building social connections is really such a critical component. So hey, maybe you're taking more of the formal route of talking to a therapist, but even just having these connections like a friend or a family member. I know that I'm regularly staying connected with men's faith groups, some of my close friends, my inner circle, and all of those people really help me to ground myself and to reorient me by reminding me that I am doing a great job. Because I think all of us, especially men, we forget. We have this amnesia, particularly those of us with ADHD. I call it accomplishment amnesia, where we just forget about all the accolades, all the things we've already done. So give yourself some credit for that. Because sometimes just knowing you're not alone, and you've heard me say this a lot, you're not alone, not anymore. So being able to connect with other people, whether they are other men or not, but just being able to share that, it helps to ease that burden. It takes the rocks out of the backpack of baggage that a lot of us are carrying around. Here's another tip. Explore some new hobbies. For me, I know some of you have probably heard me talk about this on past episodes. I play morning basketball. So I have the chance to get out and run around and just have fun. When's the last time you went out and played a game? So this is great for me because it helps me to connect to kind of that primal instinct of competitiveness and running around and jumping and throwing and all that stuff. But find out what that is for you. Whatever brings you joy. Maybe that's woodworking. Maybe that's building things. Maybe it's art. Whatever it is, make sure you're giving yourself that release, that opportunity to be creative and playful. Because having those hobbies can be a great outlet for stress. It's something positive to focus on, and it's proven to improve our well-being. So why not? Also, be sure you're prioritizing rest and recovery. For men who go to the gym and lift weights, you know that one of the most important components of a good workout routine is the rest and recovery. Because for your muscles to rebuild, you must have time to rest them. Same thing goes with our bodies, our minds, our emotions. You have to get adequate sleep to be able to think clearly. We've talked about that on previous episodes too. Make sure you have some relaxation, some downtime. That's just going to help to buoy your mental health. I know that on the times when I haven't gotten enough sleep, I am absolutely more irritable. I'm more emotional. I feel like it's easier to get into that negative spiral. If you have ADHD, you know what I'm talking about. So make sure you're getting some rest. You owe it to yourself. So now let's dig in a little bit about finding the right support. First off is choosing a therapist. Make sure that as you are doing your research, you can find a therapist that has experience working with other men. And again, this could be a male or a female therapist, but just find someone who you feel you connect with, who you can be open with, and you're not holding anything back. That's the whole point of therapy or coaching. Most mental health professionals are going to have the awareness around the specific challenges that men have, but you can ask that. You can interview the therapist and ask them, hey, how do you specifically support men? Because that might be a factor in your decision. And again, I keep talking about ADHD online, but it is so helpful to be able to have an entire directory of people to be able to choose from. Quick reminder and public service announcement, Coach Ryan is not a certified medical professional. If you need medical advice, please seek out your medical provider. Thank you. There's several different types of therapy, but I think it's good to just briefly touch on a couple of those. There's group therapy, talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Then there are things like EMDR, where it's talking about like rapid eye movement. It's helping you to process and go through things. There's other, like for example, I know in some states there's psilocybin treatment for people who might be, like I had a client who is resistant to other medication for depression or anxiety, and he found a lot of relief and the ability to process things better once he did this psilocybin. So this is not me recommending it, but it's just making you aware that there's options out there. Here's another thing I want you to think about. There's this quote, you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. Who's in your inner circle? As I reflect back on my life, being almost 40 years old, I'm thinking about the different chapters of my life and who I was spending time with. And it makes sense. If you are with a group of guys who are constantly, ribbing each other and giving each other a hard time, I mean, trust me, there's a time and a place for that for sure. But also you want to be able to be with a group who can just accept you for who you are and be supportive of you. And this support network could be family, friends, neighbors. If you're in a faith community like I am, I have several people in my church who I feel very comfortable reaching out to. So just make sure that you have people in your everyday life in addition to a mental health professional like a therapist that you can reach out to if you need something. And if you don't feel like you have those people, I want to let you know I'm here for you too. So while I am not a medical professional, I do understand the challenges of mental health, especially for those of us with ADHD. So please book a call with me. You don't have to feel like you're alone in this. You can talk with somebody on my team. You can talk with me, and you can also join our community with a whole bunch of, several hundred people from around the world who also know the challenges of this brain wiring that we have. And I know that this podcast is more focused on therapy, but I really, truly do believe that group coaching, which is my favorite way to coach, has absolutely a lot of the same therapeutic benefits as doing like a group therapy. So at least come check it out. You can come to a group coaching call for free to see if it might be a good fit for you. I've been having more conversations lately with prospective clients, and even just as I'm out in my everyday life with family, whether it's at church events or kids sporting events or going out to shows or whatever, and just talking about ADHD and mental health, because I want to make sure that I'm an advocate and I'm walking the talk. And people are often asking me about ADHD diagnosis and wondering, am I too old? Like, if my child has it, should I be looking into it? We have an entire episode around that whole topic, so check that out. My friend Dave Thompson, who works at Potentia, a company that helps to find employment and does training specifically around neurodivergent folks in the workplace, he has a phrase I really like. He says, make it less formal and more normal. So I'm trying to do that as a beacon of hope for anybody I encounter, to make it more normal to talk about our mental health and the struggles that we might have. And so my encouragement to you is to explore getting support. And that might be through ADHD Online. So you can go to ADHDonline.com. I've chosen to partner with them because I believe in them. And if you go there, you can use this discount code, Coach Ryan 50, $50 off. Now you'll notice I mention them a lot of times throughout the podcast. Not only is it because they're a podcast sponsor, but it's because I believe in their process. Now, as we wrap up the show, I want to just acknowledge the fact that for those of us with ADHD, a lot of times getting the engine started, taking that first step is the hardest part. So I want to invite you, encourage you, and challenge you. If you've been struggling, why are you not taking action? And maybe it's because of your ADHD, and that's okay. But I want to tell you that help is out there. So reach out, ask for some help. If you've never tried therapy before or coaching before, maybe now's the time. And remember, this doesn't mean that you're broken. It's the opposite. It means you're ready to grow. You're ready to heal. You're ready to process through these tough emotions. Self-care truly is for everyone. It's not just for women. It's not just for people that have serious emotional trauma. It's for everyday people to help to make this more normal. And if you're wondering, okay, well, why should I do that? How about better relationship at home with your significant other? Better relationship with your kids? Better performance at work? Those all sound like pretty good benefits. And even above that, just having a more fulfilling life overall. I want that for you. And if you're looking to get more of that connection, again, check out the profile. There's going to be links in the show notes, and you can join our community for free. We have hundreds of people that are in there. They're sharing the challenges. They're sharing their celebrations of when they've overcome hurdles that are in their lives. So join in the inclusion revolution with us. So if you're ready to break out of this cone of silence that you've been in, and you're ready to take action, now's the time. Follow some of the links, book a call with me and my team, and we'll get you connected. Even if it's not me who's the one that is going to help you, I want to get you connected with someone who can. Let's work together. We can uncover the strengths that you may not remember. You may need some reminders that are already inside of you that are ready to come out and contribute to the world. And let's work together to co-create, to work to build that life that you really want and you deserve to have. And don't forget, as always, I really appreciate you, especially if you made it all the way to the end. Bravo. I'm trying to talk faster so that we can get through these quickly. And I want to know, is there something else, another topic that you want us to cover on the More Than ADHD podcast? We couldn't do it without you. You're the reason that we're here. So as a reminder, the more that you like, the more that you comment, the more that you share. If you can share this episode with one man in your life, whether that's a brother, a neighbor, a cousin, an uncle, whatever, someone who you think could benefit from just getting some words of encouragement. And if you feel a little maybe awkward trying to say it yourself, let me say it for you. Send it to them. Let them know you care about them, because this is Men's Mental Health Month. Encourage people around you. And remember, you're not alone. We're all in this thing together. All the men, all the women, everyone who listens and tunes into the More Than ADHD podcast, thank you. And just remember, you are creative, you are resourceful, you are whole. And if you haven't heard it today, I want to remind you that I love you. We'll see you next time.